define yourself? Will you impact the future? Will you lead the pack? Will you engage the world? Will you find the cure? Will you be the hope? So, will you? Come see how St. John students are changing the world every day. Visit us today.
Map 1 done, dusted, and we move on. It's on to our second match of this double round robin here in group number 1. We move on to Siena and St. John's University. I'm Time to Light. That is still worse. Cass, he'll be with you for the entirety of prelim number 3. I'm just exiting after 3 games, so rely on him for some of the more background information later on in the tournament, at least. But this is only our second game. How are you feeling about these two teams specifically? We've already seen Wichita State take a lot of control here in this group. Can St. John's match that, or will Siena even upset?
I find it hard to believe that St. John's is the one to upset Wichita State, just because they've had, similar issues in terms of consistency. They are just not a crazy consistent team. I believe they've been in every single prelim, and they haven't really found success. They didn't find any success in the first prelim. It was not the best for them. It seems like Delaware there, Butler was there, obviously Wichita was there. But the second prelim, again, they fell in the semis and to a team they quote unquote shouldn't have, right? So they've had consistency issues going from groups to playoffs. Even in groups themselves, they've had some inconsistency issues, but they have been a good team nonetheless. And for Siena, they have just not found any success really whatsoever. So going up against St. John's is kind of looking to be second fiddle in this group to Wichita State. Maybe take a map off them if they can get those consistency issues lined up, if they've made some improvements this last film, because there has been enough time to do so. But for the most part, it is a St. John's playing second fiddle to Wichita State.
I really don't think Wichita State's going to be challenged massively, but as we head into this match specifically, it is Siena, it is St. John's. Let's take a look at where we're headed. Bind. I'm not gonna lie to you here. I'm not too excited. Bind is a map where teleporters exist, and they have confused the heck out of me, and I've played since the day after release for beta users when I picked it up off of a Twitch stream. Yet this map is different, and different like we were actually talking about in the pre-show with Dota 2. Yes, we somehow got to that conversation. Is not always bad. Bind is.
Average CSGO player. Average CS player looking at Valorant maps. I kind of had the same gripes with it when I was coming over from CS and going to Valorant. It's like a lot of these gimmicks can be a little weird. No mid on bind means that it's very just, I'm going to run it into a site a lot of the time. There's some extremity play with it. So because it's so heavy on the executes on sites, what you have to do as defenders is get extremity control. As attackers, get extremity control in showers or long to help enable you pushing into a site. There's also a fast rotate out of A short. So you can't rotate too heavily or else they're suddenly on your B site. So it can be a bit tricky to play as the defensive side. I think the attackers also just have an issue that getting into a site is really difficult. It's just 2 choke points. They don't have a mid to play off of where you can slow play through mid and then pinch a site. It's just like, guys, we're going to send it down short and showers, or we're going to send it down hookah and long, and we're just going to try to help our utility and our gunfights go our way. So a lot of the time that can be why Bog feels like a grind for attackers, and for defenders feels like it's just we got to just sit here and wait kind of thing. But we have seen some interesting stuff come out on this map from some high-level teams.
You're talking about average CS player. I want to talk actually about some CS players. Siena plays in the EGFC in our regular season. They were one of the teams taking part in Season 3 between a numerous amount of games, including Counter-Strike, and notably Pango, Loki, and OCU, all on the Siena side. They're starting the defense, by the way. They are starters on their CSGO team. So if you're looking for them to play a different esport that is a different FPS, come back next week, right back to the official EGF channels. You'll see some Counter-Strike, and you may even see me casting some of it. It's whether Viking, our lovely overlord, lets me cast or not. By the way, shout out Viking. He's super duper cool. Helps us a lot with this. But into Bind. How do you feel about some of these operator comps? Or agent comps. I'm stuck on Rainbow Six Siege from yesterday. Agent comps. Give me some thoughts, because it's a mirror comp with a Sage substitute for that Sky. I'm not too happy about that Sage substitute, because, I mean, it's fine.
No flashes? Like, that's always what I'm like. And like, people are like, oh, it's a Lear. Lear is not a flash. Let's be honest here. You have a billion years to react to a flash. You can also have you double peeking, double holding an angle. You can have one person play to kill the Lear. You have one person just holding the thing. So you just walk into the crosshair because the cooldown is so... Compare that to KO Flash, which is just like a right click, I'm going to throw a flash on the corner, insta-blind you. It is just not comparable. So they basically have 0 flashes, especially no long-range ones like a Blinding Light. And so you are just stuck in this position where, like, they have an operator on an angle. How do we get them off outside of very specific utility? Like, we don't really have a lot to do so. So this be long might just be a point that Siena cannot get through on the attacking side.
Well, St. John's is starting off the attacking side, so hopefully Siena can build up a decent lead on the defense, which is not normal, by the way. Most teams build up their lead on that attacking side. Penny has already taken a decent bit of damage to the shock dart we saw earlier. The second one does not land, nor does that Molotov, but it's really not going to matter. S-Flow taking a lot of control, and St. John's are walking onto the site. The right click does land onto 1, but it's into the 1 versus 3. The overheal helps out things, and Pango, with a Headhunter and 5 bullets no less, can pull this off, but to find 3 players is much easier said than done.
Yep, still has the Headhunter, finds 1.
Whoa.
Trying to count the rest of them, but only 2 bullets left in that Headhunter, and then has to rely on that Classic. Technically doable, but it's not likely. Still has to wait out this smoke. Might even get pushed through it if they're not fast enough, so... It's just a bad situation altogether. Only 34 HP as well. Gonna walk out into the Ghost. The headshot's gonna be a little bit of overkill right there. And St. John's starting this out strong. Finds the first round and typically, leads into a second. So, gonna be a good start for them.
You're talking about the lack of mid means usually you pick a site. You have that A mid and B mid. Those are your 2 pseudo mid positions, I suppose. There's no clear mid into this map. I think that's one of my main gripes with it. It's just different, not comparable to Ascent like we saw in the last map. But I think Siena can pull this back on the defensive side. They have that sectional ability with their agent comp, including that Sage Wall, to push St. John's to where they want it. Decent composition overall, could be much better. For instance, you could not push out and push a Sage Wall down while you're peeking. I'm not even going to try and reason that. That made no sense. That was a bad play. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I mean, we're going to have a situation again where, okay guys, the chokes happen, the smokes are down, let's wait, and then TP out because they rotated. So they all rotated, we're going to TP out, just take over A, and that's where the frustrations for a lot of players can come from behind. It just feels like, okay, they're hard pressuring a site, but we can't rotate off because they just TP through. And now they set up their smokes once again, going to walk on through, find 1 with the Classic, but that's about it. And now St. John set themselves up at expected 2-0. They don't lose that much, the bonus will be a little bit deadly, but for Siena, it kind of has to be, maybe you have to make aggressive plays for map info, right? Because a lot of the time, what can happen is if you make early plays for showers or be long and kind of get people extended in those positions, you get a lot of info on where that team is actually going to end up going.
That's a good spot.
I usually go where I get kills, which is a different game. I'm bad at this game. I can play the intel every day of the week, but the gunplay is just different compared to everything I've ever played. So I usually lose my gunfights.
Average CS player, yeah.
Yeah, average CS player. I lose my gunfights. I
bullet
have
spread is
brain.
Random. What? Not spread, but recoil is random. No, it's like
that literally infuriates.
That literally is
about
it.
this
That
game.
literally is it.
That's the only reason. I can't get a consistent spray. It doesn't help that I suck overall, but I can complain and then justify it. At least attempt to do so. Smalls has gained hookah control, decent bit of smoke play. Pango, however, does take out their doppelganger in Kenny, so the opening kill for the first time thus far this match goes the way of Siena. They can build control off of this, but they need to lock down the angles they already have control of. They can't overextend, and they can't push themselves into long angles that they could be shut down from, because St. John's has that aim ability that they've shown between the couple other prelims we've seen them in, albeit it's a little more inconsistent than some of the other teams we've seen, but with that stim and with everything being thrown in, they're looking to push through lamps and U-Haul.
Yeah, they're trying to go through U-Haul. It makes sense with the guns they have. Very close quarters, but already, again, you rotated a little bit too much. Now we're gonna go through, but are they ready for Jop? I don't think so.
Oh no.
Trigger discipline is good, but they get checked and the Lear comes through.
30 seconds left.
2v4. Smalls has a Vandal. Is gonna get cleared a little bit here, but is gonna find the pick on the enemy Reyna. Must still have one, using it to dismiss. 1v3. Ace clutch is required from Smalls Nation. Has been an amazing player for them so far. The tap is good. Has Empress not gonna pop it.
Oh no, he's hiding! He's hiding!
They don't think
He's
they're
hiding!
They don't know! Ace, but no clutch.
Oh, that's... Oh no. That's an oh no situation, if I do say so myself. Good lockdown here from Jop, just sitting in the corner. The Lear was good, albeit you said no flashes. That was a decent flash, to say the very least. But Smalls Nation, this is... Yeah, I suppose. But Smalls Nation, that's a feels bad man moment. That is the essence of the word. You get 4 kills, you hear the tap, and you're like, oh, they're going to swing. Wait, where are they? And you can't see the ticker on the spike going up because of how far into the corner you planted it. So there's no intel on that they're diffusing, nor where they are if they are diffusing because of how far into that corner it is. Not a good position. Unfortunate culmination of events. Siena shut down the bonus round, and they build themselves back into this map.
I mean, that's a bonus, right? So...
True.
You know, 4 off the board. Their economy's not looking that great. Shock plus Molly gonna come through. They take a lot of damage, but it's not enough. Dismiss is gonna save them from the Bucky. Well, I think this is a shorty. I don't know which shotgun that is. There's a lot of them. It's a shorty. Yeah. But Pango committed toward a force in this round. Wasn't there to stop the rush. The Marshall walking through smoke. That's not what you wanted. You want to play it slow there. Now the Tour de Force is the only thing left, and it's strong enough to do it. 3 more shots, only 2 remaining. Smoke's gonna come through. Pango decides, I want nothing to do with that. I want longer sight lines for my scope. That might lead them straight into the waiting arm of St. John's. A little bit of inspecting never hurt nobody, as they're gonna come through, look for the Brimstone, but they're not gonna find it. Too many angles to clear here. Only 1 shot really is remaining. It's not gonna work out, as Void's gonna take off their head, and St. John wins the after bonus, and is really set up to kind of spiral out of control on its attacking side.
The Tour de Force wasn't a bad investment into that round. It's poor the way they played it. Every single round you get information on how much damage you do after you die. The communication should have been there to Pango that both of the remaining players were low. We, of course, could see it because we have that third-person perspective and casual X-ray vision. We have walls and base info that they don't, but they should be doing some mental math between them and hope that you can convey that info. They don't, and it probably cost them. Just a single right-click from that Spectre. Loki tried to get a kill and dismiss. That didn't work. Loki dies early. The orbital strike was invested and worked out fairly well. In goes the trademark. That does land, but the guiding light is even better and forces the teleport away. The rendezvous will allow them to exit stage left, but a trade of Brimstone Molotovs means that's a free plant, and now we're to the post plant for Siena.
Taking a post plant off, but Job just kind of wonks in. You're going to have a full HP Reyna now with an Empress to boot. Attack speed that it gives, kind of the wrong video game term right there, but the rate of fire increase it gives is going to help them just take these duels, especially with the Vandal with the one-tap headshot. Now it's on the Loco. They are in a good position here in U-Haul, but has to find 2 more. And get stuck by Smalls on this Reyna has been excellent for them so far and continues to be so.
Decisive is St. John's. They know what they want to do, and they know how they want to do it, and, well, they're doing it. The execution is there. Loco, unfortunately, unable to get the final 2 required. It would have required a 4K clutch and a 1 versus 4. Sorry, not going to happen. A brief note I wanted to bring up again. I was talking about who qualifies for playoffs. New format compared to what we've seen before. There are 6 teams that qualify for playoffs between our 3 groups. The top 2 from each group, including the group of 3. But the number 1 team from group 1 and 2, they get the bye. Number 1 from group 3 plays the number 2 team from groups 1 or 2, and so on and so forth. Then you have your other semi-final or quarterfinal-ish. Orbital Strike invested, not going to find anything, and actually forces them straight into Loki, who teleports in at the worst possible time. That's a good conversion. They just tried to overgrowth and still don't die. What? What?
They do be living as OCU and Jop finding way more than they probably should. Now just OCU, and they're gonna try and find something. And I think a critical part of what you kind of talked about earlier with this team for Siena, like a lot of their players also playing on that CS roster for them. And I think it does make a lot of sense in terms of a lot of these college teams are going to put multiple players on different rosters. I've seen league players on Valorant squads and all that kind of stuff. It's like sometimes you don't have everybody that want, like, not a full amount of people that want to be on a Valorant roster to have 2 separate things and not have overlap. But I think for Siena, it's like splitting your time between those 2 games. It takes a lot. There's a lot of prep that goes into these games. There's with the amount of maps you have, the amount of strategies you have, agents and all that. There's a lot of prep that goes into it. That if it's split between 2 different games, it can get a little strenuous.
CU, one of those players that is split between the 2 different titles, is stuck in a 1 versus 2 and is going to be split between 2 different gunfights. In this situation, is going to opt no frickin' thank you. Obviously so. They will run away and save the Vandal. Shouldn't find an exit kill unless Smalls Nation runs out of showers. They won't, but I don't think Smalls will stay alive. There's not enough time for them to live. Smalls will die. Yeah, nice job, Smalls. Good time.
They have enough money for it, I guess, but...
St. John's isn't in too difficult of a position in terms of economics, but Siena are. Again, they lose a round. Again, it's one they bought up in, and look at their cash. It's a catalyst to them over-investing in situations that they don't have the credits to do so. They will be able to buy here. It will be Vandal and full shields per person, but they're going to, again, have to take concessions like we saw in our previous matchup of Wichita State versus Quinnipiac, where Quinnipiac had to take concessions in terms of their utility, and that's another situation where you cannot be taking those concessions. What did I just witness what I thought I just witnessed in the corner there?
I'm not quite sure what you thought you witnessed or what ended up happening, but
I'm just gonna move on.
Yeah, we'll move on. We can the paranormal can just remain away. Everything can go. We're gonna have the Hunter's Fury come through. Gonna get tagged up. A lot of people here. Loco finds a lot of damage there, along with a kill. Smalls Nation's on site, and they are going to absolutely frag out here. They do not care who's gonna peek them. Have dismiss as well. Reyna moment. It's kind of the only part of Reyna that's good is like if you just take duels and take them often, you can just heal through them and have the ability to disengage from them very cleanly, which is what other agents can do, like a Chamber and a Jet, which is actually going away a little bit for Jet in the next patch, but Reyna just has that in spades when that Empress is active.
Engo has the disengage ability of that rendezvous, but has to take 2 different gunfights and isn't actually taking the gunfights. I'll give you a hint, bud. Don't try and jump out while you're taking a gunfight. Smalls Nation, the first one to peek, will win the fight indeed. A clean finish for St. John's in yet another round and a headshot to boot. 6-1 is your current scoreline. Threatening a Brazil is the American University up against the other American University. Neither of them happen to be affiliated with Brazil, yet the soccer reference is still hysterically funny.
I don't know how you got that reference. I don't know how many people actually like watch World Cup or know
that
Brazil did that.
TLDR, Brazil played Germany, game ended 7-1.
Yeah.
It will forever be known as the Brazil if there's a 7-1 situation, regardless of the game. It usually happens in Rocket League when you're talking about esports, but you could talk about it Counter-Strike, Valorant, etc., etc.
People like dunking on Brazil for the World Cup underperformance against Germany.
Yeah.
People love doing it. Which is ironic because now they're performing very well in Valorant, so which is very ironic that way. But Void gonna take out Jop through the smoke, I believe, and now gonna walk up with the Judge.
Ooh.
Not gonna find it there as Loki, and he's gonna shut that one down. Now walking forward, Loco is gonna have an ability for a backstab on this smoke, but look at Triton just staring at it, and Kenny as well. They just spam through it. They're like, something's off about that smoke right there, and they found a Sova in it. And like you said, it has occurred.
It's the Brazil! You love to see it.
Was it
Unless you're
2012?
Siena.
What World Cup was that? Like,
It was 2012, if I remember
Yeah, it was
correctly.
2012,
I don't know.
yeah.
It was
So
some
long
World
ago.
Cup.
Ancient
It was a
times.
World Cup that I was alive for. That's all that matters.
That's a decade ago, actually. That's crazy. Time does fly.
When did Brazil
Okay.
get 7-1?
we need to Google for this one.
Quick
I'm pretty
Google
sure it's
search.
2012.
No, 2014. Remember, they're playing in the off years of the Summer Olympics.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's, yeah. It was
You
8
can't
years
have
ago,
that
not
overlap.
10
My
years ago.
bad. My bad.
Exactly. Anyway,
Still.
into round 9. For some reason, they just threw a stim beacon into the stratosphere, and Kenny doubles up because of it, finds both as they line up. I don't know what the heck I just witnessed, nor will I attempt to explain it. S-Flow will remove Loco. The B-site falls for the 34th time in 9 rounds of play.
Well, the thing that happens is sometimes you don't expect the chamber to just wide swing you in hookah. They have the wall going down when stim is going through. You have smokes as well. Like, there's a lot of situations that we're like, okay, Kenny won't just run into us and kill us, right? So, thought they had more time than they did. Kenny, being the mad lad they are, decides, no, I will just run through and kill you. And now you have to start begging the question here for St. John's. They're looking in pretty good form so far. And we talked about it earlier. Can they contest that Wichita State? I think if St. John's is in really good form and Wichita State is in a turbulent one, yeah, they get in a turbulent one, I think it could be a bit dangerous for Wichita State.
I want to insert the troll song "You Got Jabated" super duper quickly. Nice combination of the Tasmanian tiger being sent to the far side of hookah, along with the swing through the brim smoke. Again, coordination that we saw essence of the Wichita State
Tasmanian
University Shockers. Tasmanian tiger.
Tiger, sorry, my bad. Isn't that extinct?
It's like, no, that's what you call the dog.
Yeah, I know, but isn't that an extinct animal in real life?
I don't know. I'm not an animal person.
Isn't it like always like, oh guys, we'll find the Tasmanian tiger now. It's totally not extinct, and then we never do. I don't know. I am an animal person, so I kind of like that thing. But also, it's kind of interesting. Yeah, they are from Australia, New Zealand, or somewhere in the Kiwi section of the world. So I wonder what will happen here, guys. It's fine. What will happen if we stack it? They will simply TP away. They're gone. They're no longer with us. They are now on A site, and you are walking into the lone lurking chamber, a classic for chamber players because, like you said, they really aren't sentinel players. They are a lot of duelists.
Then you have that rendezvous availability. OCU walking around with your knife out. Not usually the greatest scenario if you want to win your gunfights. Nice position from Smells Nation. Playing the Empress inside of a smoke gives you that X-ray-esque vision and another nice headshot to finish it off. I'm so confident in Smells Nation's aim that I knew they were going to hit that shot before they hit the shot. They've been performing very well. Again, you're looking at very concise play. There's that Empress inside of the smoke. It gives you a massive advantage in terms of the outline and red of your opponent, especially inside and near sight situations. And of course, Loco, it helps when Loco doesn't hit their shots. 9-1. This is quickly getting bad and worse every round there is.
And now we have to kind of think about St. John's going forward here. They're looking, obviously, to make up for their Prelim 2 performance where they went out early for them because they were top 1 in their group and they went up to a 2nd seed, so it's not really that bad, but in actuality, they were obviously weren't happy with that performance. I mean, Loki is just walking through, kind of gets body blocked on OCU there, and they get taken out for it. Kenny's trying to spray down the Reyna and finds the Brimstone instead. Mollies are everywhere, util is everywhere, Soul's Nation is just missing when the person's turned around reloading. Cats and dogs are falling out of the sky. Apocalypse is I don't know. Those are crazy round right there. There was just so much happening on so many screens.
Smells Nation here sees the Sage and then dismisses instinctively.
Hey.
Cancels the dismiss and still hits the shot. If that's not a more indicative way of how this map is going, then I'm just concerned as to how you're looking at this one. St. John's are now winning by 9. They're about to be winning by 10 with the bye that I see from Siena. I'm not going to lie to you here, Worst. I'm not confident. They haven't been winning full gun rounds. They haven't been winning full thrifties. They haven't been winning anything in between. They have won a single round, and that was to deny the bonus back in round number 3. For reference, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, and that bonus is also almost a 5-man ace clutch from Smalls Nation to win it, so it has been a tenuous, stressful process here for Siena College. Now you have the Raider on site, does find their opposite. Smalls Nation is down, dismissing around site, going invisible. No one really can trap down low-key and keep them in one spot, except for right there where they find themselves under tube and a little bit in too much peril as the double swing comes in, and now it's just Pango versus the world, or more accurate, 3 members of St. John's, but even that proves too much as Deathflow with only 31 HP wins out the round, wins out the half, and a little bit of a celebrational orbital strike to end it.
If I recall correctly, they used the orbital strike a total of 1 time on the attacking side, and they didn't even have to use it that many times. In all fairness, Void only had 13 total interactions in terms of kills or deaths, so that alone means you can't build up a second orbital strike. It doesn't really help your situation when Smalls Nation gets 22 kills in the first 12 rounds of play, and Kenny's right behind with 16. Between those 2 players, that is 38 kills in 12 rounds. For all of you mathematicians out there, that's difficult, to say the very least. Wow.
They do be having 2 duelists, and yes, we're counting Kenny as a duelist. Once again, Chamber's a very odd character, very quirky, funny character, Riot. Thank you very much. But the rush down a short is going to be the play here. Shock Dart finds one. Soulmation on the swing. Does have the dismiss to get out. Also has a heal as well. With Pango just them out with the Headhunter. Reaction not fast enough there from Smalls to keep them alive. And now it's 2v2 retake. Siena. Oh, Pango! That's not what you wanted. The TPS flow was there. Now it's a 2-on-1. Your Brimstone will see you stuck in showers. They don't know yet, but they clear enough angles. They're going to have a good inclination of where this is. It's kind of planted for showers, but Kenny is just not aware. Waiting. Kenny turns around, finally finds it. OCU. Too much trigger discipline. Wanted to find where the sky was, but not going to be the case. Doesn't give it to him. Instead, Kenny finds the head. Now it's 12-1. And basically all but over here, as only one more round is needed. And this is a post-pistol round. Siena has nothing and St. John's has everything.
This is statistically the easiest round to win in Valorant. For all of you wondering,
As
usually it helps when the other team doesn't buy, because most teams play to win the bonus rather than win the conversion or the anti-conversion in this situation. That was a questionable round to say the very least. A very good play and a very smart play from S-Flow, using the teleporter from B-Long around towards the A back of Showers, and then taking that in towards A mid rather than towards Showers, where you'd expect them to go. That's exactly what Siena expected. They expected them to take it in towards Showers and play the A mid flank rather than the A mid take. That's exactly what happened and exactly what cost them. Nice coordination again from this St. John's University side. This is just swing after swing after swing, and every time they swing, they are winning their gunfights. 2 versus 5. Judge out, finds one, or Bucky out, finds one. Looking for a second in terms of S-Flow. Actually shoots the guiding light, but nice flick, hits the second. Into the 2 versus 2. Now, it's just Loka.
Le Bucky. Le Bucky strikes again from the grave of the nerfs. It finds enough to allow this to be a winnable situation here for Loka. Again, want to start out the group stage strong. Momentum is a massive factor in any esport, or any sport in general. And so now it's on to St. John's, doubling up here, walking through hookah. They want to make this a trade situation, but don't scrunch up too hard, because if Loka gets a double spray down, that would just be dreadful for you, wouldn't it? For the peak does find one, 22 HP. Solution jumping out didn't have the trade, but jumping up, the tracking isn't there, and that's going to be a map going the way of St. John's University. And they are absolutely killing it right now, at least in the start of this group stage.
Super close game. Really, really well fought from Siena /S. That's how I'm going to preface that one. St. John's win decisively. 13-1 the finish. And Siena, the only round they won is a round of which the plant was mistaken by Smalls Nation, an almost ace clutch, which actually was the ace, just no clutch, finishing a 14-round game with 26 kills. Wow.
A lot of kills going that way of that Reina right there. And we are going to kind of see how this team progress. I said earlier, something that could be interesting for St. John's is if they're playing in top form, against a team like Wichita State, that's actually similar play style in terms of agent comps they want to go to. Reina being the biggest thing that they both kind of share, with Smalls Nation wanting to be on Reina and themselves also having a Reina in their pool. So if St. John's matches up against them and they're on fire and Wichita State's in this turbulent mode, I think it could be an upset time for St. John's to get first out of the group. That hasn't secured them winning the playoffs in the past. They have won from that first seed out of the group before, but definitely would be a good start.
It is a great start already for St. John's, but they have to play up against what will most likely be their most difficult opponent for the first of 2 times. St. John's and the Wichita State University Shockers will be our third and final game from this group. Specifically, don't go anywhere. When we come back, it is our final game from group number 1, Shockers and St. John's. Be right back.